Hey lovies, I'm so excited for you to join me as we junk journal garden. I'm going to first show you the plant that we're going to be talking about, and then we're going to head on in to the craft with me section. But today is all about Pieris Japonica, and I am stoked. So we're walking up to the area where I have the Andromeda. So let me just give you a little review. So this is the Pieris Dorothy Wyckoff, and you can see that the flowers are already spent here, so I have to clip those out. But the new growth here is a really nice, like, burnt type of blush pink. It's hard to explain because it has some pink in it, but it's also orangey brown, so that's where I get like that burnt blush, if that makes any sense. But the flowers on here are going to be really nice and like dusty rose pink, maybe some really darker shades of pink, possibly some white. I doubt it, but I think these are like more on the lighter hues. When we walk here, we have this Mountain Fire Pieris, and the new growth here is awesome, like super awesome. It's really dark red, and to be quite honest with you guys, I actually wanted the whole entire space to be Mountain Fire Pieris, but they ran out and I am thirsty. I'm just a thirsty bucket, so I decided to get 3 of the Dorothy Wyckoffs and only keep 1 Mountain Fire because I had to have these, but I couldn't wait for another Mountain Fire, which is fine. And it actually is a kind of blessing in disguise, because once these grow out, it's going to be really nice to have this one different, because what's really nice about this one is that the bells, like the lily of the valley type flowers, I don't see, here it is, here's like a spent type of stem, and I have to pluck those all out, but the flowers are white, whereas the Dorothy Wyckoffs are pink, shades of dark pink, dusty pink, and things like that. So it's going to be really, really nice. I just love the new growth and foliage here. It's like almost like a year-round type awesome plant. So a couple things that I'm going through in my journal, as you see here, is that this is a mulched area, but this plant has really intense problems with root rot. So if you see here, they're all lifted up about 1 inch from the ground. And if you notice, this is a perfect spot because this spot goes down. These here, by the way, are stair lights, and I just kept them on the floor, so at night it kind of like, it's solar, so it shines light on all of these bushes, which is really, really nice. I digress. But yeah, there's a lot of problems with root rot on these. So here, let me give you this. Yeah, see, if you can see, all of the crowns are kind of coming up on a little mound, and that will help with the drainage. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to come in here. If you follow my stories, you'll know that this is a spot where I planted hydrangeas, but unfortunately they didn't last here, which is really, really a bummer, because I just loved the hydrangeas, but the deers ate them to bits, and I honestly I was on top of the spraying and putting all of the deterrent. So it happens, you know, trial and error, the price that you pay for living in the beautiful mountains. We are living in their home, and this is you know, our first year in the home, so it's trial and error. It's an expensive trial and error, but it's a trial and error nonetheless. So I do want to show you the hydrangeas that are making it, which is really awesome. And we'll do a journal with me session on the hydrangeas, but they're just starting to bloom, and I'm so excited. This one's pink. So we do have alkaline soil, and it should stay pink. I wanted it blue. I have lime, but the ones over here were the blue ones, and they're unfortunately gone. So I kept one, gave a couple to my mom, and we'll see how those grow in containers. One more thing that I did want to point out with the Pieris is that it needs a lot of TLC. So if you're a plant mom like me who just like really is on top of their different types of plants, and you're really on top of maintaining them and feeding them in all the different type of ways that they are, and you tend to love your plants to death, right? That does happen. You overwater and you're just you're giving it more than it actually needs, nutrients and food and all of that. So if you are a plant mom that's really on top of your game, this is a good plant for you. But I do want to show you this 3-way meter. This we went over on my garden haul a couple videos back. I'll link it below. But this is like legit a lifesaver. I use this literally every single day. So if you see here with this mountain fire, the moisture is right at the green. It's at 6 and 7, where is exactly where I want to be. When it gets to the blue, it's just too moist. And when it gets to the red, obviously it's too dry. So I want it to be in that sweet spot where it's 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Now, I do know that the plant prefers a pH level from 5 to 6. And you'll see that I notate that on my journal. So here, I know now that the soil level, the acidity, it's more towards the pH is more towards 4 to 5. So that tells me that I have to amend my soil with sulfur. If it was higher, like 6 to 7, then I would have to add the lime to make it more acidic. So today I'm going to add, just a couple, maybe tablespoons of the sulfur, and see if that higher the pH level from going more towards 5 to 6. So yeah, I really recommend this 3-way meter because, again, if you have plants that need a lot of maintenance, a lot of care, and especially at this baby stage, it's still an infant. So from now until maybe a year of its growth, I'm going to be using the 3-way meter every day, every other day, to make sure it has what it needs. Once the roots are established and it's getting more mature, then the plant gets more drought tolerant and I don't have to check as often. So yeah, that's a really awesome tip for you guys. I really recommend this 3-way meter. And let's continue with the journaling. So I'm really loving how the left page came out. So we have our title page as the Pieris Japonica, as we just reviewed the Andromeda species of the plant. So here I have the 2 pictures of my plant babies, the Mountain Fire and the Dorothy Wyckoff. I'm absolutely obsessed with the Canon printer that I have, the Ivy. I'll have it linked below, but if you're a journaler who is looking to have pictures and keepsakes in their journal, I can't recommend this enough. It's so awesome, and it's sticky back, and it's just perfect. It takes the machine well if you wanted to add stitching embellishments. It's just so cool. So yeah, on that left side, I used the Tim Holtz sayings, and the one there is stay strong, because they are babies and I really want them to thrive in that spot. And I just took the plant tags that I got from the Pocono farm. I like to keep the prices and the plant tags. That one was a different kind of plant tag. It doesn't have the typical information on it, but I still like to know where I got it, how much it was, so when it comes time that I budget my plants out, which is a scary thought. I know, what am I spending a month on food, on plant babies, and, along with what's surviving and what's not. So here, I'm basically just putting in the plant care that we kind of went through during the video session in the beginning. And I'm just basically putting here, just like to keep an eye on new growth. So a lot of you guys know, if you're gardeners up here in the mountainside or have a lot of deer and rabbit issues, you'll know that the new growth is where it gets eaten the most. So again, until these plant babies start getting established, I really have to keep an eye on that really colorful new growth, because it's calling the animal's name at this point. Also, I noted here, and you'll see, is to keep away from windy locations. So the area that I have my Pieris planted is a really good spot. It has filter sun throughout the day, has morning sun and afternoon sun, which is absolutely perfect. So I know that it's surrounded by trees and it's under the canopy of like really a pine tree and other type of trees. So it gives it really that nice shade that it needs. And because I'm in the Poconos, Pennsylvania, that's considered 6A, it definitely needs that shade during the day. I really love this section of my journal because it has a pocket. If you're garden journaling in a junk journal, it's really nice to have deep pockets so you can print other information like I did here. This is all on the fertilization. So you see here, it's all on treatments and every time of the season. And this plant needs care to make sure it's not getting any insect problems, any fertilization problems, any root rot. So throughout the year, it gives you nice tips of what to look out for and the preventatives during that time. So yeah, it's really awesome that I just have this extra piece of information, sticking it in the pocket, and just, I love junk journals for that reason. It's just, I can come back to it, I can add more information. It's just an awesome way to keep all of your information in one spot. And I'm using this beautiful tag that April made me to put some more notes. So throughout the journal, I really wanted to be consistent with plant care and notes. So in this note section, I'm basically just explaining throughout, since I planted it to the current day, how it's been doing with the deer, how frequent I've been putting animal deterrent on, what did I use for drainage. I didn't use pine bark, I used the perlite, which I think is amazing for any plants that need drainage and things like that. Just regular notes so that if I needed to relocate, I can look back and see what worked and what didn't. So here is my finished spread and I just love it. I'm really obsessed with keeping the photos. I love the pocket. It's really awesome to hold information and put some more pictures for next year when the flowers decide to grow. And here is the finished tag. And yeah, I really hope that you guys love this segment to journal with me and to learn more about plants. And until next time, bye.